Hi guys, welcome to our video on how to create master and subdocuments or utilize the master and subdocuments feature within Microsoft Word. Now the concept of master and subdocuments, it's quite a detailed one in the sense that Word is pretty much well known for not being able to handle incredibly large file sizes very well. So what you can actually do, one of the reasons you might consider using the master subdocument feature is the ability to split a very large document into multiple smaller documents that are more manageable and easy to work with. Another potential reason is outside of SharePoint, it's actually very difficult to actually allow the sharing of a single document at the same time. Now, one potential workaround for this, of course, is to utilize master and subdocuments, where each person involved in the report or the document could have their own little section to work on, so to speak. And as they edit and manipulate those documents, they then basically at the end get merged into one large final completed report. And the great thing is if any of these sub-documents are edited, once the report is compiled, the master document updates itself accordingly. So there's a couple of things that are very important in this regard. For this to work smoothly, very important that for the most part, pretty much every document involved in this compilation has been formatted the same way. In other words, the same styles have been used. And ideally, there should be no direct formatting whatsoever. And we've mentioned direct formatting in Word 102 and what effect that has on your documents. So yeah, just keep in mind you want a happy, healthy document for each document involved in the process before we start compiling. And here we go. So let's show you how to go about it, assuming that your documents that are going to be involved have been formatted properly, correctly, using styles with no direct formatting. So let's get into it. So I've got this document open here called master document, and you'll notice the styles contained within. So the subdocuments I'm going to be inserting have got exactly the same styles and have been formatted in pretty much the same way. So to begin the process, basically what you do is you navigate over to the View tab and you enable something called Outline View, which you'll notice brings up an outlining ribbon or tab. Now what we want to do first up here is we're going to hit the Show Document button, and what we now look to do is we look to insert our first subdocument. So basically in this case I've got these documents already formatted and ready to go. So I'm going to take Part 1 Government Support, double clicking that, inserting into the document. Hitting Insert, and basically it's a case of lather, rinse, repeat, and insert these documents in the correct sequence. Right. So the actual numbering on the document here at the file name has nothing to do with what I'm doing. It's just a case of this is the sequence that the files are being inserted. Now you might notice how each of these sub-documents that have been inserted have little grey borders surrounding them, which denote the start and end of each particular sub-document. Now if we were to close Outline View, you'll notice how we now have a compiled report, and based on the sequence that the documents are inserted, the heading numbers have adjusted, the page numbers have adjusted, and so on and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to quickly do over here, just very quickly, I'm going to quickly build a table of contents now, which previously was empty. So if we were to navigate over to References, Table of Contents, and I'm just going to do a custom table of contents, including headings 1, 2, and 3. I'll hit OK. And you'll notice how it's generated a table of contents across all of those documents. So now, if I was to save this master document, you might notice in the bottom right hand corner here, it's saving each individual subdocument. So what we're now going to do once it's saved all those subdocuments is we're going to just simply press Control W, and I'll be closing that master document. I've now chosen to reopen that master document, and if we navigate to where we had inserted these subdocuments, you'll notice that they actually appear individually as hyperlinks. So once again, navigating to the View tab and navigating to Outline View, you'll notice all of our subdocuments as hyperlinks. So what we simply do here is on the Outlining tab, we hit the Expand Subdocuments button, and that then reopens each of those individual subdocuments. So we'll look to click Close Outline View. Now let's just say, for example here, that the first subdocument was entitled Government Support. So let's say we were to make a change to this, say we were to take this graphic, delete it, perhaps get rid of the caption, and we're actually doing this within the actual master document itself. Now, I wanted to point out this generally is not considered best practice, but however, since we're editing the compiled report, what this is actually going to do is it's going to edit the actual underlying subdocument. So I'm looking once again to save this with Control S, and I will be going Control W to close this down. Now, if I was to open up that particular subdocument on its own, we'll just point out that the changes we had made through the master document have propagated through to the subdocument. So now let's say we were to change this subdocument itself. Let's apply a heading here. And let's say more content was added to the document. Rightio, let's say more content was added to the document. When this is saved, closed, and then when we look to reopen that master document, once again, this will I'll just point out that the subdocuments themselves have opened up as hyperlinks. So once again, if we navigate to View, and we navigate to Outline, and we look to expand the subdocuments, you'll notice now if I close the Outline view, those changes made directly in the subdocument have updated themselves in the master document. So remember guys, for this to work properly though, you want a well-formed document in terms of style, structure and formatting. Otherwise you might run into issues. Now what you can also do, just incidentally, in View and Outline, you can actually, through these different options here where it says Show Level, hit the drop down and say Show Level 1. That will basically show you all of the different headings within the document, heading 1s, heading 2s, and of course heading 3s. Now the way this has been structured in this particular instance, each subdocument has its own heading 1. Right, it has only one heading 1. It's just the way it's been structured. It doesn't have to be this way. But now navigating to heading 1, and if I say Show Subdocument, you notice how you can actually see each individual subdocument. Now you can look to basically expand simply by double-clicking the little plus sign each subdocument one by one. Now the deal here is if we were to email this document to someone outside of the organization, this could run into an issue because remember, of course, these subdocuments are hyperlinked through to the master. So what you might consider doing, of course, is simply PDFing the file first. Or if you want to send them the editable Word document, what you might then need to do is to basically take each of these sections and look to unlink each section. Now as you unlink each section, just by doing what we're doing here, or unlink each subdocument, what you now have is one compiled, completed Word document that no longer contains any subdocuments. Right, in the next portion of this video, we just show you how to take an existing long document that has never been a master document and then basically show you how to split that into subdocuments.